Cut it. What's up, Mr. Conway? So, I've been trying to get my dad to sell me his condo. Fucking the most talented. Okay, there's a couple of really talented real estate gurus here on YouTube. The most talented is actually one of the newer guys, the less reputable, I think. But either he's got some really good handlers, producers, whatnot, which I don't think is the case, or he's just somebody who, I don't know, I wonder what the guy's story is. Clearly he had a solid set of fucking parents who raised a very well-mannered kid who, like some of the greatest salespeople I've ever seen, were just so genuinely enthusiastic about fucking everything. Like, you could never tell whether or not they were being fake. It was like the way they would get excited about things sounded so good. It's like, are they just the best actor I've ever seen? Or are they just the dorkiest fucking kid ever, you know? And that sells. I can't figure it out either way. I mean, this Chinese American gentleman named Chris, kid, 22 fucking years old. He'd sold 30 cars a month at Honda, okay? Like, multiple cars per day, just... And I figured out one day that he's not bullshitting. He just genuinely thinks that's awesome. That's his number one line. That's how he sells cars. He just, that's awesome. Really? That's awesome. And I was sitting outside eating them with him one day, and I realized just how little he has to try to do that. He doesn't do it on purpose at all. He figured it out about himself, and he makes fun of himself and says, yeah, all I got to do to sell cars is they say that's awesome. And he'll sit there and laugh about it himself. The day I really got him to open up to me about stuff was, we were sitting like tearing his shit up, right? And he just puts it down for a second, takes a deep breath, and goes, I love chicken. He's just overwhelmed by how much he loves chicken. I almost fell forward, just on the fucking pavement, just you know, we're just crouched outside, leaning up against the building around the corner, you know, not about to sit there letting eating interfere with getting some ups, you know, trying not to let people see that we're eating. Not that we weren't allowed to, just we wanted to be waiting for ups at the same time that we were eating, and that's what we weren't allowed to be doing. I'm a fucking customer. I want to sell a car. I want to make some money. I'm not here for free, motherfuckers. I looked over. You love chicken, do you? Yeah. And he got himself on that one. And I started impersonating. I love chicken. Came home and told my wife. Chris just sitting there, spaced out. This not like this moment of philosophical clarity came over his face. I love chicken. Like as if he just realized the reason why he shouldn't leave his wife or something, you know? Eventually, over time, we've hybridized the two around my house with the idiocracy. I like money, too. I like chicken. And then moving on to the Lilu Dallas chicken good. I love chicken. Just made some badass chicken the other night. Oh yeah. I'll probably make some chicken tonight. If that fucking bag that I had to stuff in the fridge is still good. We got food bank chicken, which is these giant, just like they just cut it in half and put it in a bag. So I'm gonna have to go yank those fuckers. Oh, I hate actually having to fucking work with raw meat. Like I don't know why. I don't know why. Like I've bit off pieces of people in fights. Like I've but I still to this day can't separate a fucking thigh from a turkey or like even like one of the little rotisserie chickens. I just can't pull the fucking leg off of there without going like ah. Yeah. Maybe I was drawn and quartered once. You know, I am kind of ridiculously hard to kill. Oh, believe me, I've tried. I mean, yeah. Anyways. So, is a lawyer and a Home Depot card. I can actually, I can get access to the MLS, and if anybody wants to actually come fucking, you know, secure a financial future for themselves and has a few $1,000s, just a few, which I don't. If y'all have tax returns coming and you want to make them fucking count this year, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make them fucking count this year. Get a lawyer and a Home Depot card. Get a lawyer to make sure that whatever my wife types up, as per all those different ways I want to protect whoever helps do this, and you know, guarantee that they can liquefy all the assets. Hell, if you want to put a spending goal in mind, a spending goal and a limit, you know, in mind. And I can get optioned equity on the land that I buy in the terms of the agreement that I wind up with, then I'm willing to sign a collateral waiver to liquefy the land itself if the construction costs, don't yield results. Um, so here's one of the good luck inventing it kind of things that I can brag about. My foundation is modular. Okay, I can go and build part of my foundation, and then I have numerous options as to what building I can put on there. I can put a building up, rearrange it, expand it, contract it, all on the same foundation system. Okay, I might have a couple of pieces of it exposed. I have mounting links on each one, basically, that I can lift them like a giant fucking engine. Okay, the big corner pylon setups, and they're going to be rigid enough where they can be just moved, but they're also aesthetic enough to where they can be left in place. Ain't hurt nothing. Put a little deck on it with a barbecue pit or something. Connect it to the house. One thing that I do enjoy about my system is how I've basically modularized the balconies or porches, depending on how high they get built, but it's basically the same exact pieces. So I'm able to maximize the feel of how big the house is, of how much house there is, while minimizing materials and still providing a really nice living space for people. This bed and breakfast that I just drew up, I'm not even showing the full floor plan because it's fucking brilliant, and it took me actually turning on my brain to do, so not giving that shit away. 40-foot by 40-foot structure, full front porch, 5 individual porches that can't see each other around a 40-foot building, and it all looks perfect like it's meant to be. That's nice. The more porches, the less materials, and the less space you actually have to air condition, while again providing that feel of a big, luxurious space. Because, man, look, fucking storage is storage, okay? And people actually appreciate, yeah, I can just put a little Rubbermaid unit out here on this fucking giant 8-foot by 8-foot porch, or 8-foot by 24-foot porch, okay? You're providing them with all that house, all that feel of house, that storage space. They can put a fucking swing out there, barbecue pit, whatever they want. And then the house becomes a home, and that home is cheaper to cool down in the summer. Anyways, yeah, I can start with a efficiency unit and just kind of add 2 more efficiency units too. I can add from an efficiency unit 2 duplex units. When I say the following, no major construction company has anything close to what I have. Okay? I mean it. And again, it's because I'm fucking thousands of years older than you. I just am. My spirit, my soul, my memory. I've had fucking at least hundreds of years of memory just unpack with absolute clarity when I was 6 months to 3 years old, and then the weird shit started when I was 4 and 5. But things were all pretty clear up until I was 4 years old, and the little girl that is now my wife, 30 years later, showing up in my life, and then causing all the weird apocalyptic shit to just unfold. That's all just a part of what makes me such a complex person. I wouldn't be able to see what the hell Russia has been doing for the past 10 years, 30 years, 100 years, 150 years, if I didn't have the experience that basically is the side of the stories that you haven't heard, which explains a hell of a lot more about, a certain lifetime 2,000 years ago than... I don't know how people read what they read and tell themselves it makes sense. I honestly don't. I don't know how I did for so many years. I just knew it had to make sense or I was going to hell, basically. So, yeah, it's a hell of a motivation to rationalize. But, it's not that hell isn't that bad. It's just that you got to be stuck on stupid to be stuck there. Just in case anyone was wondering. There's been 2 editions of hell that I've been to, actually. One is, they both still exist, which is the weird thing. There's a hell that's the past hell, and then there's a hell that's the future hell. And if anyone's ever dreamt of those, either one of them, me saying that probably... But, I know exactly why those places look the way they do. It's like, a part of my plan. It's like, I can plan out all of reality, but you think I can't plan a fucking business? That's fucking hilarious. I mean, that is literally a level of joke that you can't find anywhere else. Hashtag Jesus joke. Why am I covered in kittens? Holy shit. There's fucking Laney on my lap, Simba over here. Hey there. Yes, he just purrs as soon as anybody gives him any attention. Just purr, purr, purr. Yeah, you can see now. You can get a good look at just how fat he is. Look, it makes my hand look normal sized. Here, let me fix that illusion by attempting to hold a large size big lighter. I have to use my pinky, or else I can't really get a good enough grip on it. Change this thing. Looks like one of them small lighters, doesn't it? Yeah, because I have Sasquatch hands. Laney, little Mr. Photogenic over here. He's a specialist in, how would you say, bladder detonation. He always knows when you're about to get up to pee, and he'll come and do this. Oh, you're not going anywhere, motherfucker. You just stay there till your eyes water. So anyways, think about the level of planning. Just okay. How about compare my claim that my memories are legitimate and not injected somehow, okay? Not just the matter of some genetically mutated human being able to connect to the Akashan field, for instance, okay? I'm trying to put together the sequence of how I came up with this complex of a business plan. I had for years been trying to think of a social media app for years. Didn't want to go forward actually designing the app itself because there's no point in doing that until you think of the name. Well, by the time I got around to that, I got frustrated with the whole keyboard phone thing and saw that as an opportunity to provide a niche device that could also provide the necessary security gap. Bridget, you know, today let me just put it this way. Mousetrap. 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 I'm going to go back to the old-fashioned approach. Huh, Simba? Ain't no fucking mouse going to outsmart you, huh? Or your brother. Oh. Mufasa was a fucking... He was like a little mini lion, man. He was an artful fucking predator. He straight snatched a fucking raven, crow, seagull, pigeon. Yeah, he'd stalk him in the grass. Simba, you can't knead my foot. There's nothing on there but flesh. You can't claw that, you fucker. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Can you keep your giant claws out of my flesh, please? I'm trying to tell a story. Ah. There. No, 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 no. It's like, but I want to rend your flesh. It's how I show my love for you. No. Ladies don't give a shit. Holy. The claw. The claw. He's such a fucking baby. This cat goes outside 20-degree weather is like it ain't shit. He got his hurt paw from when he jumped off the balcony. But his limp is kind of just how much he spoils himself. You know, his perfect fur coat and everything. You know, it's just him spoiling himself. Because he can catch a fucking rabbit. This fat fuck here. And I know because sometimes we'll start to see rabbits and then we'll stop. And then we won't see Simba for a day or two. And then we see him. And he has doubled in size. Like right now, he's kind of on the small side. This is pretty much as trim as he gets. If he goes and loses a little bit more weight than this, he's probably going to wind up catching another rabbit or something. And then he'll wind up just eating the whole fucking thing himself. Fucking rabbits are damn near his size, by the way. Big fucking brown rabbits. Not no little bunnies. Anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, the plan. So, I have no money, no credit. I do, however, know a lot about real estate, remodeling, flipping houses, because my mom did it with somebody else's money, basically. And my mom basically invented two forms of business that now a company called Remax, after merging, basically acquiring these companies, now makes billions on. My mom got disgraced and basically kicked out of the business because she got shit done and thought, maybe I should be getting paid. My mom basically had to take the rap of embezzling, which, you know, it's debatable on whether or not she should have done anything differently. I got half a mind to send this motherfucker a letter too. Like, you really don't remember me? I thought, you know, I called him and I asked, I apologized to him just because, like, yeah, technically, yeah, responsibility, technically, bad thing. But I just started brooding over it. I started thinking about it, like, I'm always so quick to apologize. I'm always so quick to blame myself for everything, aren't I? Basically, the reason why my mom embezzled from him is because my mom was supposed to be like a project supervisor slash secretary. And she was gutting houses and you know, digging and tilling and planning and so she paid herself and me. She paid me $5 an hour cash. $15 for roofing. Because at the time, it was basically the people that were doing most of the shit I was doing were making 15, and the roofers were making 35. So I made $5 for the 15 level shit, and I made 15 for the 35 level shit. You know, good money for a kid, man. I've scarcely made that much money since. We'd be doing fucking 10 and 11-hour days. And, I didn't know that 8 hours was a thing back then. I didn't think nothing of it. I was just there until my mom let me go home. And took me home, yeah. Or took me to the bar or whatever. Yeah. So my basic plan for my own success started centering around this YouTube channel and the business that I wanted to go into, which was cars. We had the floods happen through, no fault of my own. Yeah, well, kind of. Is it if the kid does something so fucking horrible that it makes the parent break their belt, whose fault is it when the dad's fucking pants are sagging the next day? Especially if the kids should fucking know better. Anyway. But regardless, yeah, my yard became somewhat unviable for continuing my automotive things. And then, of course, the attempt at using basically the first corner view reef room on YouTube, which used to look a lot nicer before they demonetized my shit. And I tried my hand at something that I had wanted to do since the 90s, which was breeding Truperculus. I actually managed to be successful. Did the margins on investment revenue and decided that even though the revenue would be a little bit less than opening up my own little car business, the chance to actually apply innovations towards cleaning up the Gulf of Mexico and possibly the entire world's ocean, that plan started to make sense. And that's when I converted this to Easy Reefers and started trying to start with a fish store, basically. And I had these flood-proof building designs, and I wanted to basically build my prototype as my mechanic shop, and then I wanted to build my prototype as the reef store. And then came, again, just hammering away at the cost and going from here's what I could do with a lot of investment to here's what I could do with a little investment to here's what I could do just like my fucking grandpa did, 8-foot section at a time. And then realizing the versatility that allowed with my framed structures and my just entirely different, well, not entirely different, but my different approach at applying the same techniques on foundation building. Because I was never going to be able to conventionally have my own store. I was never going to be able to conventionally become a construction company. And I was never going to be able to conventionally claw my way up from no credit with a wife who declared bankruptcy to owning anything. So 7 years ago when I pointed on the map and said that's where we're going to wind up, and I asked my wife to look up the zip code, and she said it was 70777. I didn't know jack about this area. And one thing I definitely didn't learn for a while was how good of an investment real estate is around here. There are some genuinely good deals in this area and in the surrounding areas just south of here. And that flood managed to reduce and vacate a whole lot of these properties. Now, there's no way a poor person can launch any of the products that I have designed. There's no way somebody just getting into real estate could amp up their revenue ROI quick enough and with a wide enough margin to where they could fund such projects. It would take them 10 years at least. Now, I personally believe that God is the source of all inspiration and ideas. Okay? And that is in questioning of my own identity. I have to believe that there is a greater God than I can even understand. Okay? I remember the moment I became this sentient being back before the universe existed, but I still believe that there's something greater. And whether or not I'm just in that limited perspective to set an example, I don't even know. I don't know. I just know what I remember. But when it comes to just inspirational level ideas, I don't think it can be argued that if there's a creator of the universe, that's who decides who gets to invent shit, right? That's who decides who composes Beethoven's Ninth. That's who decides who comes up with Kleenex. Kleenex, really? And we've only recently started to call them tissues again. For a long time it was, you call whatever kind of tissue it was, you called it a Kleenex. While I was struggling for a way to bridge the funding gap between real estate and tech investment, okay, I just started having these fucking ideas. I would just look at problems that, it's almost as though like ghosts were sharing their memories with me and saying like, this is how a lot of my friends died, this is how I died, this is what you can do to help us, move on. This is what's bugging us. Please accomplish this so our spirits can rest. I don't want that to be in vain. If that's real. I don't want to die having not accomplished these things. I got 2 inventions. One that could save soldiers' lives in the field. Actually, I've got several. But one that is something that you could find on every fucking Walmart and auto parts store shelf if it gets produced. That could also save many people's lives on a daily basis. And another completely different technology that's basically a disease prevention technology that can, again, preventing diseases saves a lot of lives. Preventing the spread of diseases, namely. And both of those two things, not only do I just have the complete visualization of the entire product line, but I've got names that are like Kleenex, that if people invent a generic version of these products, people are still going to be like, hand me that Kleenex. Because there's no more efficient phrase, you know? It's like, you know, people don't add the extra fucking syllables or whatever. Please hand me that facial tissue. No. See, now we're starting to call it tissue again, because we got toilet paper and we got tissue. It's not bathroom tissue and facial tissue. It's TP and tissue. Because, you know, we all found out what the word facial means, and never mind. We just stopped bothering to say that. Because, yeah, as we all know, you know, facial tissue isn't actually any good for facials. You need a towel for that shit. Hand your woman a tissue. You better make sure your wallet's hidden before you fall asleep. Oh no, he didn't. Anyways, so real estate funding. You know, collecting properties until you get a few $1,000s a month in income, rental, right? I might try to do that before we even, you know, I've been living in this moldy bitch for so long, just might as well try to get the income up before I buy a property for ourselves, right? At this rate, fuck. I'm really considering doing that. I'm really considering staying here for a whole nother year just to try to get a rental property or two. Okay. Real estate income established by someone who didn't inherit money and, you know, doesn't, you know, starting from zero, you can only ladder your way up so quickly. Real estate income at that level isn't going to fund any kind of tech venture, but it can sure as hell fund those two main patents. Okay. Those two main patents, just by themselves, probably still couldn't fund the big tech adventure. But then I have the entire series of patents that go along with each one. I have the real estate, and I have my own new efficient level of design and management for the real estate. That also helps me reduce cost in implementing these other businesses. So all of those revenue streams combined and the efficiency of the model will mean that I have the money to launch a technology. And that is why helping me flip a house makes you a billionaire. So somebody needs to come help me flip a fucking house already. And like I said, okay, anybody wants to fucking bet me and lose, come down here. Let me fucking let you sign a little NDA, okay? Watch Laney. Let me let you sign an NDA. You can see my Kleenex, and you can see my other Kleenex, and you can see my other Kleenex, and my other Kleenex, and my other Kleenex, and how many fucking patents I actually have that are just worth millions by themselves. And then you can decide whether or not you trust me to flip a fucking house. As if it would be difficult. Do you really think I couldn't find a property that I could fix up and sell for more money than we paid? You don't think I couldn't do this profitably? Have you ever met the caliber of people who can manage to be fairly successful with this? Yeah, I don't know whether I finished this point earlier, but let me go ahead and get back to it. Meet Kevin, excuse me. Kevin. I know a guy named Kevin. I got taken back by it the first time, and now I'm calling this guy. But meet Kevin, the real estate guy. Okay. What a high caliber individual. Steve Putzajowski, he can fucking seriously talk to a camera and get a lot of really coherent information. And I can't even tell if he's reading, but it really, sometimes it just doesn't seem like he is reading. He's just like, he just spouts the damn info, you know? Well, Meet Kevin's kind of the same way. And if he doesn't have a brilliant production handler, boy, that is a kid who I would fucking love to hire to run the real estate side of my shit. He's got that, just like the I Love Chicken guy. He just gets excited. I can just tell his customers fucking love him, man. But as rich as he can get doing what he does, as good as he is at it, even with the YouTube income, that's not gonna be money that can launch a business that can save the world. Okay? And I mean, to save the world, okay, here's how to save the world. I don't know how to save the world. You need a combined technology and social media company, device, invention, something. Yeah, that thing I got sitting in my fucking notebook right there. Because you need to be able to basically pave the way towards mandatory voting. Okay? Mandatory educated voting. That is basically it's the basis of a stable democracy is an informed populace, okay? And you can be a company or a Russian intelligence agency with just like shadow companies and political fucking organizations with other shadow companies, and you can just spread all this misinformation. I want a social media app where you register like you used to have to register, by mail. Yeah. And you have to be an American citizen to use the American social network. Yeah. And if you would like to communicate with people in other countries, you can go and manually select the countries that you'd like to communicate with. Oh. And in none of these countries in which my business will operate will I allow anyone but individuals to manage accounts. And they will only be able to manage 2 accounts each. One for your personal account, the other for your business. That's it. And yes, by the way, this app itself will be designed to make government more efficient, to provide reporting and statistics not to corporations to be able to psychologically manipulate people, but to our government and the public record to be able to better serve them. Imagine how much better we could formulate solutions to the economy if we had data reporting on how many different people with what education level and what demographic were trying to start businesses in this, that, or the other type of industry. You know how much better we could form economic stimulus through policy instead of money handouts? Yeah. These people are trying to do this, but they can't because of that. I could give you a report. If I had a social media app, I could give the government, I could give the public record a report on how much money people are being forced to not make because of bullshit regulations at the local level, zoning restrictions, that kind of thing. And we can take those data points, we could take those numbers, and we could see just how much we need to adjust things as far as margins go, as far as taxes goes, as far as expenditures goes, and how we can reformulate legal standards for waiver processes. Okay? Not the federal government going into a local jurisdiction and saying you need to change your fucking zoning regs, okay? But a government provided suggested format for waiving those types of restrictions, as in these types of businesses, and if set up in this way and these requirements being met, yes, will allow somebody to live at their own business or to operate a business in a residential area. Like if someone can commit to a by appointment only, one car at their house at a time, whatever, they should be able to put a little fucking sign with their phone number up in their front yard. It's got to have a standard on how it looks. You know, every different community should be able to set their own standards. Some communities could be able to waive the standards. They could waive different levels of things based on whether or not that's a low profit corp, a not for profit, that kind of thing. But you don't know how to tell a government how to do this. You don't have a way to tell the government that this shit's actually happening by one opinion at a time, because it's just, meow. But if they have a fucking data report, I don't know if it varies state by state. I don't know if they still allow this kind of shit in New York and New Jersey. I'd have to ask Joey. But around here, new. You're not allowed to have any employees living on premises. You can't provide room and board for your employees on the premises. You can't give a manager a suite above the store. You can't even own and operate from the same location. Not except for in certain little jurisdictions. Like, there are accountants, notaries, and that's only in certain places. Those are like the neighborhoods that are in the city anyways, you know? But there's no like, I want to buy this street corner. I want to build myself a house in the back and operate my business out of the front and provide a couple of apartments for employees to rent. You can't do that. That sounds so efficient, okay? There should be a way to regulate that to way those people don't get taken advantage of, to way it's a sanitary situation and everything like that. There should be a way to regulate that. And, you know, you don't tax those people extra, but you don't have to provide them the extra incentives that you do for big fucking corporations. And what you're doing is you're creating a stronger, more taxable middle class in general. Because guess what? Those people are going to be able to make more money getting higher paid jobs. Because, you know, if you're paying me rent, you're taking care of the apartment I give you, and you're doing a good job, you're showing up on time every day because you live 50 feet away from where you clock in. I'm going to have no problem giving you every raise that you ask for, okay? And you know the whole it takes a village to raise a family thing? The most productive team leaders I've seen were very parental. Were very fatherly with their crews, you know? And you know, if one of your employees has financial problems, let me help you do your budget. If you drink or smoke pot, just write that off as personal expenses. I want to know everything else that you're spending money on. And just see, you know, are they trying to get a new car? Are they financing a vehicle that they don't need to? Look, if you're making a work labor fucking job and you have to spend money on pot or alcohol, or God forbid cigarettes if you're a dumbass like I am, you know, because fucking hypertension meds are a lot more expensive. You buy your ass a fucking $500 used car. You don't pay no car note. You know what I'm saying? There are ways that practical people can counsel people that are struggling without giving them a hard time and determine whether or not this person actually needs a raise. Well, somebody couldn't resist petting the kitten. Oh, Simba, you're irresistible, aren't you? Hey there. Anyways. So it's funny how, like, I got this plan that's pretty tangible on how it can, in fact, save the world. Imagine if the people who have been, you know, persevering enough to find this channel, and people of those caliber, were the standard of leadership left to the council of this company, you know, after I'm not around anymore. And this company would be, with full awareness, able to debunk far left and far right craziness from ever spreading. It would give independent free speech to individuals without monetizing it. Monetizing free speech. There's kind of an oxymoron there. Shouldn't freedom of speech imply that we should not have to pay to have our voices heard? You know, I don't think I'm one of these people trying to take something that says fat free to the register and not pay for it. It says free. Free. It says the word free on there, so I don't have to pay for this. It's free. No, I'm not doing that. I'm talking about what is freedom of speech. What is free speech? It's not just, you know, I have the right to not have somebody putting duct tape over my mouth. It means that just because I'm poor doesn't mean I'm stupid. That's what it fucking means. And my voice is not heard at the ballot box. Okay? My voice is heard by me being able to being a fucking allowed to speak. Without having to be a rich person just to be heard. Because guess what? There might be poor people that are smarter than rich people. Oh yeah, they don't know the financial lingo. But they might have something called fucking common sense. If you think, oh, there's a lot of poor people that are dumbasses, though. Well, guess what? There's a lot of rich people that are total fucking tools. I mean, is fucking Zuckerberg anything but a fucking propaganda robot? He's nothing but a fucking politician. That's not somebody who invented a technology. Are you kidding me? You ever met a fucking programmer? And I'm sorry, it's just been so long since we had an actual intelligent CEO of a company. It's just been so long. I think we'd be better off with a lot of different pseudo-intellectuals than most of the people who actually run companies these days. The people that run companies these days, they don't innovate. They don't lead. They don't even know how to market. All they know how to do is fucking cut costs. All they know how to do is troll. Here are the talking points of best business practices in this year. I'm the new CEO. This isn't working. Let's cut jobs. Rinse and repeat. And then Jeff Bezos comes along. Hey, let's just be as cynical as fucking possible. Let's actually hire people with the plan of firing them. Yeah. Let's move into a bunch of areas, hire a bunch of people, until they've made enough money to buy robots to replace them. Yay! Then we can fire 15 fucking people, keep one of them, and put news stories out about how then we can put news stories out about how that one person that got left the fucking job is making 3 times as much as they used to. Oh, look how much Amazon is paying me. I don't know where all my fucking friends went, but I'm doing okay. Bend me, break me, any way you need me. All I want is you. I was jamming to some garbage earlier. When I was younger, I was like, man, that's a obsessive, crazy bitch singing for that band. I like her. That's a wild ride, son. That's the kind of woman, if you beat her to the finish line, she'll put a knife to your throat and tell you to keep your foot on the gas. Don't you dare stop, motherfucker. Oh, I didn't know you could make a demon voice. Okay. Back to work, Mr. Happy. What? Anyways, these are the jokes, folks. These are the jokes. Oh, meet Kevin, met Grant Cardone 2 months ago. Huh. Huh. That's funny. I'm gonna watch that one. 8 minutes. See there, dingo. Anyways, so let's see. Did I actually cover the topic that I typed on the freaking? Oh, no. Led into it a couple times, but didn't. Google helps coordinate how Americans are attacked by Russian trolls. We used to pass, like, laws. Remember when we used to pass laws? Like not just like acts? Now we pass acts. You know? It's always got to be like a branded thing. And it always focuses on more of what it's called. And it's always an act. It's nothing wrong with, calling an edict an act or a law an act or whatever. But these are literal, just plays. Let's move taxes this way. Let's move taxes that way. Let's cut these programs. Let's put these programs back. What the fuck are you people doing? There are actual problems that are fucking this country up. And we're not weighing the consequences against inaction. It's kind of the way we talk about common sense background checks for firearm purchases. And having a national database, the same way we have fucking national databases for everything. Why don't we have any regulation on who can do what with a website? Who can do what with your data for using that website? We still don't have shit. Why? It's fucking amazing to me. How? Meow. Well. How? How? Laney. Yeah, right? There's no IT guys in Congress. I I called the office of Senator Whitehouse, is it? Who used to be an executive at an IT company. And I was told by his staff, well, he's not actually an IT guy. I was like, yeah, I'm hoping he might get it because he was an IT guy, right? I wanted to inform him about the things. Yep. YouTube defunded me just in time to keep me from running for Congress. I'm pretty sure I could have gotten voted in at Congress around here. Let me just say, for starters, Black people love me. Okay, I get along with black people just by default. All right. Hispanic people, not much to mention. But I have a lot of credibility where that's concerned too. Now, white people, the reason why they don't let people hear me is because of just how well I appeal to every different type of white person. As long as I can refrain from using the word fuck in a sentence. Granted, that is an immense hill to climb there. For fuck's sake. All right. Let me go ahead and go. I'm going to get Dingo back inside. Well, now I need to let him struggle for a second. Because I just want to be more specific about what we're looking at here. What we're looking at is third-party app access. You know, like when I brought it up before, and then Google got questioned about it coincidentally because, you know, Interpol and the FBI apparently do watch this channel. Well, they might have actually applied, you know what? They might have actually applied some sort of algorithm to my videos where they've been recording them and then condensing them so they can get all the information out of them without having to deal with all my dreadful pauses and the occasional bathroom break. I'm sorry for having a bladder. But it's the way that these social media sites and Google itself is set up to allow third-party access to so much unnecessary shit, and basically excusing these things under the guise of competitive advantage. The thing is, like every single industry that's ever come about, not every competitive advantage should be legal. Because some competitive advantages can be used to suppress the rights of people. Okay? And frankly, what people are allowed to do with Facebook and Google right now is just sinister. And it needs to be stopped. Okay? You want to talk about a national emergency? There should have been one declared the moment we realized there was a psychological warfare campaign being facilitated by American companies. Okay? Hold the fucking phones. Shut down the fucking traffic. We have terrorists on the streets. Okay? The same psychological effect that bombs and buses and vans and shit filled with explosives and terrorists, suicide bombers and all, the same psychological effect that that's designed to have, they simply skipped right to the fucking chase and went for the psychological effect without the actual explosions and everything. But, you know, frankly, there's been plenty of mass shootings and everything else. Not to mention suicides and mysterious deaths. Trump is the national emergency. The fact that we were attacked and basically surrendered our fucking country, that's a national emergency. Okay? And it really needs to be dealt with. Not next week. Presently.